Last time I used this mallet and some dry ice to break up the insulation inside the car. What I didn't realise was it was also breaking up the insulation under the car, so I've treated the area. I'm using the Dremel here to get rid of all the sharp edges and get rid of the surface rust, and I noticed there's a crack here, so I just drilled a small hole and treated the area. Now to install the heater core and attach the hoses. And then the fan motor. I couldn't fit me, the heater box and the camera in there, so I couldn't show you how I did it, but these two clips hold it in place, and I'll show you on another unit where that is. Here's one from another wreck, and you can see the clip points here. And yes, this is the correct exit for the wiring. It just comes out the side there, no hole, just through the side. And this vent is the fresh air lever. I'm going to take the top off. You can see that the heater core sits on top of this nicely. The heater core entrance and exits come through these points here. The heater core needs to be positioned in a certain way to slot in. It will then sit flat. And the fan bezel has two protruding parts here. You can see how they slot in place. And now for the fan itself. Did I mention you have to do this upside down with one hand and gravity working against you? Now to reattach the cable to the lever. Just putting the clip in and aligning up the cable. Quick test of the lever to make sure it's working, and then testing the fan by plugging it into a battery for low and then of course for fast. Just fixing up the end of the heater tap cable so I can put it back onto the tap itself, and just screwing it in position here. Making sure the heater tap moves and then tightening the hoses. The hex pattern is completely gone from the end of the brake line. I'm using a Dremel here to file back the hex shape to a smaller size. So the end that was once 13 is now 12. I use this brand of open ring spanner. It seems to be the best one for the job, and it's a little bit thinner than the rest. I attached the hoses to the pedal box and then fed the hoses through the hole. Then used compressed air to push out the rest of the old oil. Trying to lift this pedal box with one hand and the camera in the way wasn't going to work. I just lined up these two bolts here and screwed it in. And now attaching the brake and clutch lines. I can see from here that nothing is squashed and everything fits quite well. I'll install a grommet there so nothing gets snagged. Feeding through the speedo cable and the brake and clutch lines. And making sure they're all in position inside. The original plastic cover looks like this, and you can see the hole is on the right hand side, but the hole on the plastic cover is on the left hand side. They never made a right hand drive one. This is the one that was printed earlier. It has a hole on the correct side. Attaching the hoses to the brake reservoir and then putting it in position. And the same again to the clutch reservoir. The low brake reservoir switch connects to here, then an earth on this side and a test switch above. I'm replacing the standard clutch reservoir cap with one that's used on the brake reservoir. I'm just attaching another earth to it here. I'm using a multi-spade adapter here which will plug onto the side of the brake reservoir, which will then connect to the normal cable. From there I'm feeding the clutch reservoir. This way I'll know that if the brake or the clutch reservoir is empty, I'll get the brake warning light inside the car. And just testing the switches to make sure they work. I'm installing a fuel pump here because this location is where other fuel injector models have their pump. I'm using this regulator gauge and filter all in one. I'm installing it in this location because there is no longer a need for the carburetor cooling fan. And now attaching the new fuel lines. I'm even using the later Bertone mounting rubbers. I'm using a stainless steel braided hose that goes to the carburetor, better for heat and just wear and tear. I'm not happy with the positioning of this hose because it has to come straight out and then down because the regulator doesn't actually have an output going straight down and then come around here. I need to get some more slack there as well, so I'll have to come back to this problem. But next time I take a wheel off and push a bush.